Okay, so we've gotten through the first phase of mowing that we can do in this project, and we now have brush that is not suitable for mowing for this tractor. It's too big, too heavy for us. So we're going to have to start tearing it out. So we're going to be using the teeth on the tooth bar on the end loader, as well as the box blade, and I have the scarifiers on the box blade dropped as deep as possible. That helps me catch roots and pull other things out. And so we're going to be doing what's called clearing, or pioneering sometimes it's referred to. And so we'll be trying to push all this stuff out that we can, and that will leave us bigger stuff that will have to be cut out with a chainsaw, and have to use a root hook to pull out the roots and to get the stumps out. Okay, so I'll now demonstrate the clearing of this brush. Okay, so we've had a chance to clear out some of the brush that we said we were going to do. When you look at that, you might have noticed that I would use the tooth from the tooth bucket and get it underneath the root ball of a bush and then pull up or curl the bucket back to pry it out. So that was one of the ways that was very handy and effective for getting some of these things out. Now let's look a little bit. You can see we discovered that there's a bunch of landscaping blocks that got dumped in here that we ran into. As we move over this direction a little bit, there's a bigger log that we discovered, and if you look closely here, there's some pretty good sized hunks of concrete and asphalt, probably an old driveway or something. So it just kind of a reminder that when you start into one of these projects, you never really have any idea what you're going to run into, and so moving slow and careful is the name of the game. I also wanted to just take a moment to point out something. You might notice as I'm operating in this particular video that I'm wearing my seat belt. Something pointed out to me by a fellow viewer in one of my earlier videos where I wasn't wearing my seat belt. This is the rollover protective structure of the ROPS. If the tractor rolls over on you, that will keep you from getting crushed, but only if you're wearing your seat belt so you don't get thrown off the machine in the process. So even though this is not the Rocky Mountains by any stretch of the imagination, we can already see that you can run into all sorts of surprises. There could be a surprise hole. Sometimes these little drop-offs are steeper than you notice, and it's really not that easy, not that difficult to get yourself into trouble with these tractors. So really, I thank that viewer for pointing out, really need to be wearing your seat belt. I typically wear the seat belt, but I wasn't in those early videos, and so I just wanted to highlight it now. There's no job worth dying for, and so this is an example. Alright, so let's get back to the more interesting stuff. If you look down here, we saw that I was using the scarifiers to come in. This is some stuff I couldn't quite get with the bucket, so I used the box blade and the scarifiers down deep to rip and catch those root balls and pull them out. So I'll come back and I'll finish cleaning up these roots with the scarifier on the box blade, and then I'm going to start trying to get some of these blocks up and out of our way, because we want to eventually turn this into a garden and tree farm, Christmas tree farm, and so we don't really want all this debris left in our soils. So as I can and I locate this garbage, I'm going to try and isolate it and move it off, and eventually we'll have it trucked off to a dump somewhere. I'd also see now that as I'd hoped, now I've gotten to the point where I've gotten to a tree. This is one I'll cut with a chainsaw, and I'm now building my access to each of the trees that need to be cut with a saw as I go along. So we're going to move to shortly start working this direction here. There's another big tree I need to cut down, so I'll be building another access path into that area shortly.